Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, De Ridder versus Allen. So without further ado, let's get to the first fight on the card that I'll be predicting. So we're doing the full card of fights, 4-fight card predictions. Scroll down to the bottom. First fight we got in the bantamweight division. We got Charles Jourdain versus Davy Grant. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'm going low confidence. Charles Jourdain to beat Davy Grant. I feel like these guys are kind of mirror images of one another. Like Davy Grant like 10 years older than me. Like I think Jourdain's like 29, Grant's like 39. So yeah, Grant is like 10 years older. Obviously they ain't have the same exact career, obviously. They're two different guys. They're two grown men. One grown man is just 10 years older. Ain't like he's old enough to be his dad or nothing like that. Ain't nothing crazy like that. But similar, like they're both like primarily strikers. You know, early on in their careers, they had a lot of issues with grapplers. Then later on, they started to get submissions over grapplers, even like getting submissions over black belts and stuff. So like, they start off like still it's a weak area in the game. Still can be exploited by real good grapplers, but they definitely have evolved to, you know, work on that weakness and make it a strength at some points, and probably even lower some of these guys that think they're better grapplers or look, you know, that's their game plan. Their coach like, oh yeah, take them to the ground. That's how you beat them, and that's the whole approach. They gonna think they're gonna take them to the ground, and they end up getting submitted by them. So that has happened for both guys, like at least multiple times at a high low. So they both have evolved. But yeah, I'm going with the younger version. I think Charles Jourdain is evolved. I think he's a nice peak. I think Dave Grant, you know, he's still continuing to get better as well, but not as much as Jourdain, and that's obvious because Jourdain's a younger guy. I think Jourdain's quicker, sharper, better hand speed, and again with the involvement, the evolution in his grappling, I think he'll be the aggressive. Grant tries to go to grappling, down his thing on the feet. Jourdain will be the sharper, quicker striker. He's also dynamic as well, just like Grant. He's not just a boxer. He's not just a kicker. They both with their hands, their kicks. Jourdain does a lot of, you know, airy strikes. That's why he call it airy Jourdain. A lot of flying knees and jumping kicks. So he's a little more dynamic, and they both got good cardio, and they both will run it. So yeah, I think Jourdain will be able to stand Grant, and I think he beats him by decision. I think it's a good competitive scrap, but I think Jourdain wins by decision again. It's quicker, younger, sharper. Their grappling will probably cancel out, and Jourdain and just on the feet will be quicker, sharper, and will get his hand raised by decision here. Could see a stoppage well, but I'm leaning to a decision. So in this one, I got Charles Jourdain via decision. Now for our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, we got Prepolec versus Drew Dober. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going, I'll go low confidence Drew Dober to beat Prepolec. You know, probably scratching your head like, why is it not average? But my biggest concern is that Prepolec has never been KO'd. And that's like Drew Dober's main path to victory. So that could be concerned. I still think Drew Dober gets a knockout. But I have no real reason to give Drew Dober any extra confidence, if we've been honest. Like, Drew Dober is not that guy. There's no need to be like, oh, Drew Dober, that's my walk. No. Drew Dober is like a middle of the pack fighter, like 50-50. Like no need to be like, oh, this is my guy to bet the house on or put any good confidence. So low confidence is good enough. I might still bet him to be honest, but put an average confidence, don't really feel the need to. Can I? Yeah, but do I feel like the need to? No. So low is good enough. He wins, he wins. If he loses, he loses. But yeah, Drew Dober low confidence here against Prepolec. I don't think Prepolec has any great offensive grab, so that should be good for Drew Dober. On the feet, Prepolec is tough, but Drew Dober is the more technical striker, and he's the heavier hitter here. So all in all, he should be the better fighter. He should be addressed the grappling. If Prepolec tries to initiate the grappling, and also Drew Dober has been in there with much better grapplers, much more successful UFC fighters. And yeah, I think Drew Dober will be able to address the grappling if that comes in there. And on feet, he's just a much better, sharper striker. I think Prepolec will be tough, but I think Drew Dober will be the guy that will crack his chin for the first time and get an actual TKO win. I know, I forget the guy he just fought. Benoit was cracking him and stuff and hurting him, but Benoit finished him by sub ultimately. But I think Drew Dober will get it done by KO, and I think it's in the second round. So that chin will hold up a little bit, but it can only hold up so long with a big heavy hitter like Drew Dober constantly cracking you. So in this one, I got Drew Dober via second round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the bantamweight division, we got Melissa Croden versus Tainara Lisboa. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Tainara Lisboa to beat Melissa Croden. I think Croden's a solid fighter, but the level of competition she fought just has not been the best. Especially when I'm saying in particular the level of competition that she has beaten has not been the best. So she has fought like one or two decent fighters that, you know, made it to the UFC, I think, or at least one. And she lost unanimous decision. And yeah, she's tough, pretty well rounded. But again, one of those fighters that's well-rounded, you know, they can make, you know, be in the UFC, but they don't seem like they can excel in the UFC based off what they're showing here. I think Tainara Lisboa will have a clear striking advantage, and I think Croden will have a clear grappling advantage. But I think the striking advantage is bigger, and I don't know if Croden can fully utilize her grappling advantage. I think Lisboa, the gap between their striking is bigger than the gap between their grappling, is what I'm saying here. So I think Lisboa will be able to address the grappling Croden and then just be the sharper striker on the feet and beat Croden by decision. Again, Croden's tough, so I think she'll be able to make it to full 15. But I think Lisboa will be able to dictate the pace of this fight, set the tone, control the pace of this fight with her striking on the feet, where the fight I think will primarily play out. And I think she beats Croden by decision here. So in this one, I got Tainara Lisboa via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the flyweight division, we got Bruno Silva versus Hyun Sung Park. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Hyun Sung Park to beat Bruno Silva. Yeah, both of the guys are coming off some beatings. Park, he got submitted in his last fight, but I think he got dropped or rocked like 2 times in that fight. So it's not like he just got taken down and submitted. He got beat on the feet and beat on the ground. Bruno Silva's coming off like 2 brutal beatings on the feet. So as far as what they've done in their career, Bruno Silva is a much more accomplished fighter. He's still young enough. And, take those last 2 fights away and just put him versus him, I would say pick Bruno Silva in my honest opinion. So that's not the reason why my confidence is low. But Park does have more upside. He's a fresher face in the UFC. He hasn't had as much mileage as Bruno Silva, hasn't had as much injuries as Bruno Silva. And I think he'll be able to recover quicker than Bruno Silva from, the damage that he took. Where I feel like Bruno Silva, like once you get to a certain age or a certain amount of experience, which Silva has, that mileage kind of sticks with you. Whereas like Park, he's fresh in UFC. This is his first loss. Like I said, it could be something mental. And it's different things. So that's another concern on Park's side. Like, yeah, you're young and stuff. You recovered. It's your first loss. You don't have as much mileage. But sometimes that first loss, messes with the guy's head. So there's a lot of reasons to not really feel too confident about this one. Because Bruno Silva, again, is a well-rounded fighter. He could crack. He's beat some real good guys. He's been around. He gave some real good guys some real good fights. Some fights that probably could have won his way as well. He could grapple. He could strike. He got power. Park could grapple. He could strike. Whatever. He got a little bit of power as well. But the level competition he's fought has not been as good as Park overall. But I'll go with Park here because, again, going with the younger side here, less mileage, and less track records of loss. He only has 1 loss. And that was to a very leading competition. So I'll just say, I'll say decision here. I think it's a good scrap. I think he's going like a 50-50 fight, probably even a split decision here. But I'll go with Hyun Sung Park. Again, going with the less mileage fighter with more upside and more room for improvement here in Hyun Sung Park. And that's really all I'm going to say here. So in this one, I got Hyun Sung Park via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, we got Azamat Bekoev versus Yusuri Belgaroui, one of Pereira's former rivals and current training partners. But I go with Bekoev, average confidence to beat Yusuri Belgaroui. I think Yusuri Belgaroui is probably working on a lot of things, improving on this, improving on that. But I don't think he's no Alex Pereira. I think Bekoev is a guy that can turn into a pretty good middleweight at the very least. And Belgaroui can too, but I think Bekoev could definitely be like a top 10, top 5 middleweight, to say at the very least. I don't think I'm not guaranteeing no championship out of him or nothing like that. But I do see top 10, top 5 material for Bekoev. Whether that's for like 1 year, 1 month, or something, I can see him touching those rankings. Belgaroui, I don't really see it. I can see him maybe getting top 15, maybe top 10, just for like a month or something. Just one fight, he gets the perfect stylistic matchup. But yeah, he's primarily a striker. He hasn't shown too much great grappling. He's shown improvement in it defensively a bit. But again, I just think Bekoev is just on a different level in that department. And also Bekoev can strike as well. I'm not saying striking with him is the perfect path here to beat Belgaroui, but I can see him mixing it up, utilizing grappling to set up his striking, and, fighting a smart fight and getting a decision victory over Belgaroui. So just going to lean to the more well-rounded, probably younger fighter here in Bekoev. Yeah, 29 versus 33. Belgaroui still at a good age. Bekoev, just sitting outside his prime. So 2 guys in both good ages, but going with the young guy with more upside and more well-rounded to get a decision victory over the striker here. So in this one, I got Azamat Bekoev via decision. Now, to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, we got Danny Barlow versus Jourdain Santos. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going with Danny Barlow. He's the sharper, more technical striker here. He definitely got some flaws as well. But, coming from welterweight, he'll be sharper. He has the power as well. He has heavy hands. And I think he'll be able to take advantage of that against Santos. I don't think he's giving up too much size. 6'2", he's actually the taller fighter. He'll actually have, a 3.5-inch reach advantage? Yeah, 3.5-inch reach advantage. I think he's younger too. Now he's a little bit older. But yeah, I think he'll be using his height, his length, and his speed coming up from welterweight, and probably have even more power coming up to middleweight now. And now not cutting that weight, I think he'll have more time to sharpen up his skills that weren't as sharp as they needed to be in his last fight or his last 2 fights, to be honest. And yeah, be able to quicker, sharper, more technical fighter here. And I think he'll be able to find that second round TKO over the Jourdain Santos. So in this one, I have Danny Barlow via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the strawweight division, we got Stephanie Luciano versus Ravina Oliveira. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Stephanie Luciano to beat Ravina Oliveira. Yeah, Stephanie Luciano is like the more complete fighter, or at least the more, the better overall fighter, as I should say. Because you could be the more complete fighter, but that fight could be better overall, giving everything. Like, because you could do everything, but you ain't got no good takedown. Like, you ain't got no good takedown ability to get it there or something. Or you're only a guard player. You only could pull guard or something like that. You're not even a good top player. You're like a pull guard. You're more well-rounded, but can you really utilize it overall? This striker has 99% takedown defense and 100 striking. So overall, in this matchup, they're better than you. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. But yeah, Oliveira is the more well-rounded fighter, but Luciano I think is the better overall fighter, and that's why I'm leaning here. I don't think Oliveira is more well-rounded, but I don't think she's really that big a threat in either department, whether it's striking or her grappling. She's good enough in those departments to be in the UFC, I think, and she deserves to be here. But it seems like she don't have enough to stand out here. And obviously the time could change, but as far as right now, I just think Luciano will be able to address the grappling and just be the sharper striker. And let's see, I think the grappling will keep her honest enough. I think this goes the distance. And it's not like Luciano is some big finisher yet. I think she's pretty young. I believe she's pretty young. Yeah, 25, 28. I think when I first seen her in, I think Contender Series, I think she was like 23. So still young, 25. Yeah, so maybe that finishing potential will come along in her late 20s or maybe early 30s. But as right now, I don't think she's much of a finisher. So I'll say this will be a decision for Luciano. So in this one, I got Stephanie Luciano via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Cody Gibson versus Aoriqileng. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence Cody Gibson to beat Aoriqileng. So Aoriqileng is pretty much a one-dimensional fighter. He's not even that great in that one dimension. So he's a one-dimensional fighter, and he's not even great or even good, particularly in that one dimension. Like, he's tough, he's a mummy, and that's about it. Got a little bit of striking, got a little bit of power, but the track record of knocking people or even hurting anybody is not that extensive. Again, for that one dimension. Been improving upon his takedown defense. So takedown defense. So that's cool on him. That'll make this fight a little bit tougher to be all like, oh my gosh, I'm fully locked in with this one. But outside that, Cody Gibson, experience. Striking has definitely come along a lot from his first stint in the UFC. A lot. Tough guy. Very good wrestling. Probably some of the best wrestling that Queeling has faced. Another experience, like again, Gibson experience. He'll be longer. I think he'll be able to hold his own whip on the feet. And I think he'll be able to mix up the grappling. Maybe even submit Aoriqileng. But again, Aoriqileng has shown toughness. So this probably go to full 15 minutes. But yeah, Gibson probably going to be pushing a lot of volume on him. A lot of pressure. Mixing in takedowns. And Aoriqileng is going to struggle with that. And Gibson's going to be able to relatively dominate this fight. Again, I'm not saying Aoriqileng not going to have moments. He'll probably have some moments. But I think for the most part, the story of this fight will be Cody Gibson's volume, pressure, and his ability to mix in the takedowns and just really grind out Aoriqileng to a decision here. So in this one, I got Cody Gibson via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, we got Cal Nelson versus Matt Frevola. And how do I feel about this one right here? And I'm going low confidence Matt Frevola to beat Cal Nelson. Yeah, Matt Frevola is very hittable. Striking is very questionable, but it works. He's a solid, tough guy. I would say he's the tougher guy here. Cal Nelson got power. I feel like he's the sharper striker, technically wise. But again, being the more technical striker is really not always a shoe-in way to like, oh, you're going to win. He's sharper. Look how he hits the mitts. Look how he's so textbook. Even though none of them really super textbook, to be honest. But Frevola is really not textbook at all. And Cal Nelson's somewhat reading the textbook. So that's what I'm going to say. So Cal Nelson is the more technical striker here. But again, people get so much on technique, but technique's not the end-all be-all at this level. It's like, how can you use what you have to win or to exploit what this guy does or doesn't do or something like that. That's really what it comes down to. It's not, perfect technique. Because when you look at a lot of the greatest fighters in any combat sport, they really be going way outside the textbook. are reinventing the textbook, or writing their own textbook, if we're being honest. So textbook ain't like, oh, it's this guy don't do this textbook, he don't do this textbook, he can't be the best striker because he don't do this. Your favorite striker don't do that either. But anyway, yeah, really a pick 'em fight here. But yeah, I think Frevola would just be out. I'll work him though. Chaos, it probably get dropped, but Frevola, unless you put him all the way out, he's gonna keep fighting, keep banging. And I can even see Frevola taking some shots and getting hurt, then come back and rallying and putting the pressure on Nelson and stopping him. But I'll say decision. I think it's gonna be a good scrappy fight. Both guys scrapping, but it really gonna come down to Frevola's on the orthodoxness, his volume, his pressure, and his ability to just keep pushing and pushing that value, pushing that pressure, throwing those heats, and fighting Nelson to a very close competitive decision. And hey, this in Canada, so it might go the other way, but we'll see. Again, either way, I ain't really locked in on our side, but I'm just leaning toward Frevola slightly here. So in this one, I got matched Frevola via decision. Now in her next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Marlon Vera versus Ayman Zahabi. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going Marlon Vera, low confidence, to beat Ayman Zahabi. And what I'm really predicting here is I'm predicting a Marlon Vera masterclass. And when you usually hear masterclass, you think, oh, he's going to put on a perfect 5-star meal out there. 5-star, 5-course meal out there on him. Be sticking with the jab, slipping, counter banging, chopping the leg out there, hit him with the fake the low kick, come back with a spinning hook kick or whatever kick, you know. It's like when you think of a master. But when you think about a master dish with Marlon Vera, or masterclass, or 5-star meal with Marlon Vera, a Marlon Vera 5-star experience is him, you know, slow start, probably Zahabi out jabbing him, sticking and moving. Vera kind of trying to find his timing. Not been able to find it for the first 2 rounds. And then third round he starts to hurt him, or maybe the second round hurts him. But again, like he hurt him a little bit. And most people can't see that he hurt him a lot of bit. But so like live eyes going crazy a little bit for Zahabi. So Zahabi probably like a minus 800 favorite live going into the third round. Probably drop a little bit to 600, minus 600 in the third round. But again, still some big odds for Zahabi in that third round. And then, just as you know it, final 2 minutes or final minute, Vera touches him with the same shot he touched him with in the second round, like towards the end of the second round. But this time, he touches him in the way he wanted to touch him, whether it be like a kick to the head, elbow or something, and knocks Zahabi out in that final closing minute, final closing 2 minutes, maybe even final closing 50 seconds. So he probably, again, if he doesn't get finished, he probably loses 29-28, but he gets to finish in the third round and stops Zahabi, because Zahabi definitely gives that kind of vibe already, even without fighting Vera. He gives you that vibe like he's a guy that's very susceptible to getting finished. Like he don't seem the most durable. He is tough, I'll give him that, but he just don't seem the most durable. Like guy you could shut the lights off and you just land that clean shot. He's not like he's just that guy that has such iron chin or iron body. Like he seems like he's weakly built, but he's well skilled and well tutored and whatnot. But as far as his physical ability, is not really that great. So Vera could find those clean shots, which he can. And Zahabi, again, even in the auto fight, he was getting rocked and stuff late and early. But yeah, I think it'd be one of those fights where Vera, you know, that slow cook until he finds that moment, that perfect setup he's been looking for like 14 minutes or 13 minutes of the fight, and finds it in the third round, in the closing minutes of the third round, and puts Zahabi out via TKO. So in this one, I got Marlon Vera via third round TKO. Now in our next fight, we have in the flyweight, women's flyweight division, we got Manon Fiorot versus Jasmine Jasudavicus. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'll go average confidence Manon Fiorot to beat Jasmine Jasudavicus. So you got the French versus the French Canadian. Going Fiorot here, average confidence to beat Jasmine Jasudavicus. So Jasmine Jasudavicus is definitely starting to get the respect she deserves from, you know, the MMA community and the Canadian community, like Canadian MMA community. But I think Fiorot wins here. Jasmine Jasudavicus has not really shown any great improvement in her strike. Her striking is still very much a liability. And her grappling is good, but Fiorot, I feel, is bigger and stronger. And it's not like grappling is really the biggest area of weakness for Fiorot. And Fiorot might even be younger than Jasmine. Yeah, she's younger. Like, they're both kind of up there in age, but Jasmine's actually young. Like, kind of looking at Jasmine, like, oh, she's Canada's best chance at a woman winning a belt or something like that. or really might even be Canada's best chance of getting built, period. But she's not going to do it. Like, there's too many good champions. Champion at 35 is too good. The champion at 25 is too good. She go to 45, she'll be too small and really won't have any advantage. And again, champion is too good. Champion at 45 is too good. Well, it's not. I'm not saying 40. Champion at 35 is too good. Champion at 25 is too good. And champion at 150. There's no 145. But yeah, and the weight class you could possibly go is 115. Probably not. Probably might try to go up to 135. But again, 35, 25, or 15, the champions are just too good. I think right now the 15 belt is vacated, I believe, because Whaley's going up. But yeah, even then, like, I think they're still too good. Whoever's going to replace her. But yeah, Jasmine's a solid grappler, solid wrestler. But I think Fiorot will be able to address the grappling and just outstrike her. Probably a very similar fight to I think was that like her title eliminator she fought to get to Valentina Shevchenko. Or no, right before that. Again, I don't know these names off the top of my head. I'm not going to look it up. But yeah, she fought a grappler in one of her fights right before her fighting for the belt, and she stuffed all the takedowns and just outstruck her. I think she'll be able to address the grappling Jasudavicus and just outstrike her, and maybe even stop. I'm going to say stoppage. I'm going to say like a stir around stoppage. I think Jasmine will be tough. She'll be looking for those takedowns, but I just think Fiorot is going to be too big, too strong, and she understands grappling enough to be able to defend the takedowns of Jasmine. And then just pick her apart. It might be even split, like defend a takedown, throw knees into her body, just break Jasmine down over the course of the 15 minutes, then stop her in the third round. So, in this one, I got Manny and Fiorot via third round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the welterweight division, we got Kevin Holland versus Mike Mallott. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Kevin Holland to beat Mike Mallott. So yeah, Kevin Holland just such a hot and cold fighter. Really, when you look at his ability, his length, and his frame, you're like, if this guy really locked in, he really could be a champion. But obviously, it's way past that. But you just kind of cleared his old record. You just see Holland at his best, and you just erased the ugly in his career and look at what he looked like when he had his best. Like, this guy could be a welterweight champion in the UFC if he just locked in. But again, it seemed like it just passed that point. But who knows? Crazier things have happened in sports. Crazier things have definitely happened, but yeah, I'm just saying that's how talented Kevin Holland. Mike Mallott's talented as well, but not nearly as talented. We've been honest. Mike Mallott could be Holland very well. I think he's the favorite here, so people are saying he should win this one. But Mike Mallott's still in, even at his best. You could bring the best Mike Mallott there ever was. Maybe make him even twice as good as he is right now. And I don't see him being a welterweight champion. I just don't see it out of him. Not in the UFC, unless like 5-6 people get injured or something, or get test positive. It's got to be like a lot of stuff got to happen for Mike Mallott to get the belt. I can see him fighting for the belt, but winning the belt, nah. But anyway, going Kevin Holland, low confidence to beat Mike Mallott here. I think he'll be able to use his length, his speed to break down Mike Mallott over the course of the fight. Definitely be a tough scrap, but I think Kevin Holland could outlast Mike Mallott, and especially after his last fight. I think he's gonna come in here even more angry, and that's a good Holland, a motivated Holland, because he put on such a disappointing performance last time, and he was close to finishing it too that third round. Like, he was close to, like, it was a fight that should not have went that way, and he was close to doing what he needed to do in that third round, but like he just gassed out, and this was a sloppy fight all along. Still almost won it, whatever the case may be. But I think this one he'll come in more sharper, more locked, and more focused, and come in to make a statement here in Canada against the Canadian. I think he'll be able to use his length, crack Mike Mallott with the shots. I think he'll be able to take the shots on Mike Mallott, but I don't think Mike Mallott will be able to take his shots. So again, I see a firefight at points in this fight. But again, I think Holland will be able to weather it better. And when he starts landing shots, start to get his groove and get his timing and get his ranging down, I think it's gonna be really kind of like just a downhill slope for Mike Mallott at that point. And Holland's gonna start to be able to tag with shots, start to get loose and quick and sharp, and start touching Mike Mallott from a lot of different ranges, a lot of different angles. And with a lot of different shots, and break Mike Mallott over the course of the fight. And Mike Mallott probably going to panic shoot a takedown, like panic shoot a single, panic shoot a double. And from there, Holland's going to be able to snap him down, go for darts, and tap him out late second round. So in this one, I got Kevin Holland via second round submission. Now to our main event, we have in the middleweight division, we got Reinier de Ridder versus Brendan Allen. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence, Reinier de Ridder to beat Brendan Allen. So two guys here that are longer middleweights, grapplers first, but I think it's going to primarily play out a striking battle. I think grappling will be involved as well. Largely going to cancel out, But yeah, I think what's the main thing of this fight, I think Reinier de Ridder's pacing and volume is going to be what wins this fight. I think Brendan Allen will keep him honest early with his striking. I do think that Brendan Allen is a more textbook striker, in my opinion. But Reinier de Ridder just going to keep coming, keep looking to dig knees in the body, put him in the clinch, to land elbows. And he's going to take some of these shots. You know, if he gets hurt, he's probably going to pull guard and just look to tax the mission on his back and probably stalemate if that happens, like worst come to worst. And then once he get recovered, just get back, you know, Diaz style, just keep coming back. Like Diaz style, but in a de Ridder way. Like, it's not going to be like punching and digging to the body, like jab, jab, 1-2, slap cross. It's not gonna be like that. But it's gonna be coming forward, putting shots in your face, digging these in your body. And de Ridder has shown tough. Like in that Whitaker fight, he got hurt, but he kept coming back and keep dishing out. And Brendan Allen is no Robert Whitaker, and Brendan Allen's not as durable, not as tough, not nearly as great or great at all. To be honest, he's a good fighter, but he's definitely not a great. He's still got a lot to prove to be great, and I just don't think he'll reach that. But so good is good enough, but he's definitely not great, Brendan Allen. And I think Reinier de Ridder will be again take what Brendan Allen's dishing and keep hammering, keep staying in his face, put him in the clinch, put him in the plumb, and also he showed great cardio, to be honest. Like, if you had to keep constantly pushing someone back the whole fight, that's no simple feat. Not a lot of guys could do that. So, and especially for 5 rounds, just keep pushing, even when you get hurt, and just get him back up, constantly digging knees into the body. I think he'll do that. Constantly standing in the face of Brendan Allen, landing knees, landing shots, clinching them up, digging into the body. Brendan Allen goes for takedown, work submission on his back, looking for hits, for sweeps, reversals, and maybe start mixing his own takedowns. Again, this is going to be a grinding type of fight. And ultimately, I think de Ridder is going to be able to dish out the better damage more consistently. And I think his pace and pressure and the damage he's dealing, especially to the body, is going to be able to break Brendan Allen down. And I think he TKOs Brendan Allen in the 3rd round. So, in this one, I got Reinier de Ridder via 3rd round TKO. And so that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, de Ridder versus Allen. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.